What if one simple habit is quietly stealing your peace, your focus, and even your future, without you ever realizing it? Most people believe that sharing more creates stronger relationships, greater opportunities, and a better life. But what if the opposite is true? What if constantly explaining yourself, announcing your plans, and inviting everyone into your personal journey is actually draining your energy and slowing your progress? The truth is, some of the most powerful transformations happen in complete silence. Confidence grows there. Discipline grows there. Healing grows there. And often, success does too. In today's world, we're encouraged to document everything, explain everything, and seek approval before we've even taken the first step. But the people who build the strongest lives usually understand something different. Not everything deserves an audience. In this video, you'll discover why protecting certain parts of your life isn't about being secretive, it's about becoming stronger, calmer, and more focused. You'll learn how sharing less can reduce anxiety, protect your energy, strengthen your confidence, and help you make real progress without constantly looking for validation. I simply share lessons I've learned through life experience and ongoing reading. If you're facing serious emotional or mental health challenges, please seek support from a qualified professional. So, if you're ready to stop living for other people's approval and start building a quieter, stronger version of yourself. Let's begin. Social media was supposed to help us connect. But somewhere along the way, it became a stage where many of us feel pressured to present the best possible version of ourselves, hoping to earn recognition, approval, or admiration from people we may barely know. Instead of showing who we truly are, we often end up hiding behind carefully selected photos, polished captions, and highlight reels. Many people unknowingly tie their self-worth to numbers. The number of likes on a post, subscribers on YouTube, followers on Instagram, or views on a video. When those numbers don't meet expectations, self-doubt quickly follows. The pressure to be constantly noticed, celebrated, or validated can become emotionally exhausting, quietly damaging confidence and making us feel as though we're never enough. The constant search for external validation also takes a serious toll on our mental well-being. When we're always focused on how others perceive our lives, our work, or our progress, we gradually lose touch with who we really are and what truly matters to us. The truth is, you are so much more than your online identity. Social media is not real life, it's a carefully edited snapshot of it. Just like a magazine cover, it shows only what someone chooses to reveal. Never compare your everyday reality to someone else's carefully curated highlights. Behind a perfectly edited selfie and a confident smile, there may be someone silently struggling, desperately seeking acceptance. This isn't a new phenomenon. In psychology, some people refer to it as the Marilyn Monroe syndrome. Marilyn Monroe, she captivated millions with her beauty, charisma, and public image, yet privately struggled with the painful feeling of being loved for the character she portrayed rather than for who she truly was. That gap between the public image and the private self is more common than we often realize. Social media also creates the illusion that success happens effortlessly. Rarely do we see the years of hard work, failed attempts, sacrifices, rejection, and perseverance that came before someone's breakthrough. What you see online is only one perspective, never the complete picture. Depending on our own emotions, we can quickly turn strangers into heroes or villains without ever truly knowing them. The truth is, we often accept the stories we're given without questioning them. If someone tells you another person is selfish or dishonest, you're naturally inclined to believe it because it's the only version you've heard. Our emotions are powerful, but they're also temporary. We can move from admiration to disappointment, or back again, in a matter of moments. When your perspective changes, so does the story you tell yourself. That's why it's worth learning to share less. Not because your experiences don't matter, but because not everyone needs access to them. Instead of constantly announcing your plans, your struggles, or your victories, invest that energy in building something meaningful. Create more. Explain less. The endless search for approval from an invisible audience is exhausting, and, in the end, it rarely brings the peace we're hoping for. If you choose not to share every important moment, it doesn't make that moment any less meaningful. In fact, it often becomes even more valuable because it remains personal. Some experiences become stronger when they're protected instead of displayed. As the old saying goes, loose lips sink ships. Sometimes the greatest sign of wisdom isn't knowing what to say, it's knowing what to keep for yourself. Silence isn't emptiness. Sometimes, it's the place where your greatest growth begins. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this conversation and want more videos about quiet confidence, personal growth, and building a stronger mindset, consider subscribing to the channel. If this message resonates with you, give this video a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and let me know in the comments, have you ever regretted sharing something too soon? I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts. We all want to be liked. It's part of being human. We naturally crave acceptance, approval, and meaningful connection. In fact, paying attention to social feedback helps us build relationships and navigate life with empathy. But what happens when that healthy desire for connection turns into a constant obsession with other people's opinions? When every decision is filtered through one question, what will they think? That's the moment we begin to lose sight of who we really are. Worrying too much about what other people think is a silent form of stress. It slowly chips away at your confidence, clouds your judgment, and keeps you from living authentically. So let's take a closer look at why this habit is so damaging, and, more importantly, how you can start breaking free from it. Our culture often celebrates winning, wealth, status, and physical perfection. It's easy, almost automatic, to measure your life against what you see on social media, television, or the seemingly perfect lives of successful people. But constantly comparing yourself to others comes at a heavy cost. Research has consistently shown that frequent social comparison is linked to lower self-esteem, greater anxiety, feelings of inadequacy, envy, and lower overall life satisfaction. In more severe cases, it can contribute to depression, unhealthy coping behaviors, and even self-harm. Living in a constant state of comparison affects nearly every part of your life. It often shows up as persistent feelings of not being good enough, declining motivation, and a distorted self-image. When you're always measuring yourself against someone else's journey, your own achievements begin to feel insignificant. Over time, that cycle becomes emotionally draining, affecting not only your mental well-being but also your physical health and your relationships. The first step is learning to recognize the warning signs. Do you feel jealous or discouraged after scrolling through social media? Do someone else's accomplishments make you question your own progress? Sometimes these feelings disguise themselves as exhaustion or a lack of motivation. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time online or after conversations with certain people. Those moments often reveal hidden comparison patterns that deserve your attention. Comparison also influences the choices you make. When you rely on external validation instead of your own inner compass, you start making decisions based on someone else's expectations rather than your own values. You may pursue a career that doesn't fulfill you, chase goals that don't truly belong to you, or sacrifice your own happiness just to gain approval. Relationships can suffer as well, because jealousy, insecurity, and feelings of inadequacy quietly create emotional distance between you and the people you care about most. When your actions are driven by the need for validation, you gradually silence parts of yourself. You may hide your opinions, downplay your passions, or pretend to agree with things that don't align with your values, all to avoid criticism or rejection. Over time, that disconnect creates an emptiness inside. You lose touch with who you are, what you believe in, and what genuinely brings meaning to your life. The emotional weight of constant comparison doesn't stay in your mind, it often shows up in your body. Anxiety, fatigue, muscle tension, headaches, trouble sleeping, and even digestive issues can all be signs that your nervous system is carrying more than it was designed to handle. Your body has a way of telling you when your mind has been under pressure for too long. Learning to recognize those signals is an important step toward protecting both your emotional and physical well-being. The good news is that you can let go of the need for constant approval. It won't happen overnight, but with intention and self-compassion, it becomes possible. Start by building self-awareness. Notice the moments when you're putting someone else's opinion ahead of your own needs. Then ask yourself a simple question: why does their approval matter so much to me? Next, reconnect with your values. What truly matters to you? What kind of person do you want to become? Let those answers become your compass instead of public opinion. Practice small acts of authenticity every day. Speak honestly, but kindly. Say no when you need to. Stop feeling obligated to explain every decision you make. Every small act of authenticity strengthens your confidence. Challenge your assumptions. Most of the time, we imagine that people are judging us far more harshly than they actually are. The truth is, most people are so busy worrying about their own lives that they rarely spend much time analyzing yours. And if these patterns feel deeply rooted, don't hesitate to seek professional support. A qualified therapist or counselor can help you understand where these habits come from and guide you toward greater self-acceptance and emotional freedom. Caring about what other people think isn't inherently wrong. It's part of being human. But when those opinions begin controlling your decisions, silencing your voice, or stealing your peace, it's time to take your life back. You weren't born to become the version of yourself that everyone else expects. You were born to become the person you know you're capable of being. The freedom that comes from letting go of other people's expectations is life-changing. Start small. Speak honestly. Trust yourself. Your worth doesn't require a public vote, and you don't need anyone's permission to be who you truly are. In today's fast-paced world, it's incredibly easy to get lost in the noise. Everywhere you look, people are announcing their goals, sharing their plans, and broadcasting every step of their journey. But the truth is, genuine success doesn't need a loudspeaker. It isn't about telling everyone what you're going to do. It's about quietly doing the work and allowing your results to speak for themselves. Too many people spend valuable time talking about what they intend to accomplish without ever taking meaningful action. They're more invested in receiving encouragement than making progress. But the people who truly change their lives aren't the loudest voices in the room. They're the ones who stay focused, keep showing up, and keep working long after the excitement fades. Their achievements become so undeniable that words are no longer necessary. Success isn't about being noticed. It's about having the courage to stay focused, the discipline to keep moving forward, and the patience to let time reveal what you've built. If you want lasting progress, stop chasing attention. Instead, commit yourself to the work, one day at a time, and let your actions tell your story. You don't have to be loud to become extraordinary. You don't have to convince people you're serious. And you certainly don't have to explain yourself. If you want respect, stop asking for it and start becoming the kind of person who naturally earns it. Respect is built quietly. It's earned during the late nights when you keep going after everyone else has stopped. It's built in the early mornings when you choose discipline over comfort. It's created every time you do more than what's expected, even when nobody is watching. Want to stand out? Become so good at what you do that people can't ignore what you've built. Not because of what you said, but because of what you've consistently done. People notice what's real. They notice what works. And they remember results. If your life isn't producing the outcomes you want, no amount of talking will change that reality. Here's a difficult truth that can completely change your life. The world doesn't owe you recognition. It doesn't reward potential. It doesn't reward intentions. It rewards excellence. And excellence is remarkably quiet. It isn't flashy. It isn't desperate for attention. It's consistent, disciplined, and deeply rooted in character. You don't need to promote yourself when your life begins to reflect the person you've become. Respect isn't given, it is earned through consistent effort over time. Yet many people seek validation long before they've built anything meaningful. Real respect comes from the work you do when nobody is applauding, when nobody is encouraging you, and when nobody even knows you're trying. Focus on becoming the strongest version of yourself in private, and eventually your results will earn the respect you were once trying to ask for. You don't need to announce your intentions to the world. Take that energy and invest it in action instead. Show up every day. Keep your promises to yourself. Stay committed even when motivation disappears. Over time, people won't just notice what you've accomplished, they'll notice who you've become. They'll see it in the way you carry yourself, the confidence with which you speak, and the calmness with which you handle life's challenges. That's the kind of respect that lasts. Success demands commitment. It often means working while others are distracted, staying focused while others seek constant entertainment, and continuing when nobody is keeping score. Discipline is forged in the quiet moments that almost no one will ever see. Every hour you invest in yourself while others waste theirs becomes part of a future they're unable to understand today. Train yourself to find strength in silence. Those long hours spent improving yourself aren't hours you've lost. They're investments that your future self will thank you for. Because in the end, actions will always speak louder than words. Instead of talking about what you're going to do, simply do it. Build confidence by keeping the promises you make to yourself. Allow your results, not your announcements, to reveal your character. Life rewards consistent effort far more than good intentions. Keep showing up, especially when it's difficult. One day, your work will build a reputation so strong that your voice won't have to carry it anymore. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson of all. In a world that constantly rewards noise, choose substance. Choose patience over attention. Choose discipline over applause. Choose quiet progress over public validation. Because some of the most meaningful things in life really do grow better in silence. And if you protect that silence long enough, one day your life will tell your story far better than your words ever could. Let's talk about how you can begin applying these ideas starting today. Before we wrap up, if this video encouraged you to protect your peace and focus more on your own growth, I'd really appreciate your support. Subscribe to Quiet Improvement for more videos on self-discipline, confidence, and personal growth. If you found value in today's message, give this video a like, share it with someone who may need this reminder, and don't forget to follow the channel so you won't miss future videos. Every like, every share, and every subscription helps this community grow, and I'm truly grateful that you're here.